Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're back for another Battle for Zendikar draft. We opened a decent rare here. It's good mana fix, and I'm not entirely sure that it's better than Tajiru Warcaller. This is just a little mini overrun effect. If you can trigger it reliably, it's good even by itself. Some people have called it like a mythic level uncommon, and I don't necessarily think that it is, because it does need the right conditions for it to be good. It's a terrible top deck, and mythic level uncommons are usually not terrible top decks. I think I'm going to go with Beast card. Let's look at the rest of the pack real quick, though. Jati Offshoot is not a card that I like very much, but if you watched my last video, you see that it can actually do a good bit of work. Holds off the early game and puts your life total in a comfortable spot. But both games that it came down on turn 1, so there are the times that it doesn't, and then it's not good. Royal's Retribution seems fine, but not exactly busted or anything. Blister Pod's fine, Slide Runner's pretty good, Touch of the Void and Sheer Drop are good removal. I'm going to take this guy. Mana fixes for creatures only, which is just okay. It is also an ally, I believe. Yes, it is, so we're going to keep that in mind. Alright, following that up, we have... I'm not going to take Sanctum of Ugin. I don't love aggressive strategies based solely off creatures, but we do have ally into ally, so that could be a thing. White-green allies or something like that. Unnatural Aggression is a fine card. It's not as good as some of the other fight effects that we've had in past sets. And Ulamog's Despoiler would be great, but I would want to prioritize ingest cards if I take this. And that's not always something I want to do, or exile and effects. Between like Ulamog's Despoiler, Cloud Manta, and this 2-1, even though I don't believe the 2-1 is amazing, I'm going to take Ulamog's Despoiler. I haven't actually played this card a lot. It's never made my deck because I've never quite had the ways to pull it off, but I'm going to take it. And we'll look for some exile effects. Skitterskin's fine, not one I've played before, but it seems like an okay card if you're attacking. Slabhammer's pretty bad. It only fits in a dedicated landfall deck. Vile Aggregate is very good. Is very, very good. And could push me into kind of a black-red Devoid deck again, or a green-red Devoid deck where we make a lot of Eldrazi's and get Vile Aggregate out. Other than that, there aren't too many great cards. If you go all in on these healers, you can just kind of chain healers together. Tandem Tactics is also a very good trick, and Valka Invoker is great. Cards I don't like very much are Earthen Arms, Goblin Warpaint. Hedron Blade is almost unplayable, except in certain matchups. Reclaiming Vines is fine sideboard, and Shatter Skull is not amazing by any means. I'm going to take Vile Aggregate. I think the card is very good, and we'll just see where this takes us so far. Alright, some good ones. Tajiru Beastmaster has actually been pretty good for me. Infused with the Elements is also a card that people don't usually suspect, and I think it's quite good. Outnumber is decent removal, that's sometimes bad removal. And there's also Unnatural Aggression, which Outnumber and Unnatural Aggression are very similar. I'm leaning towards the Aggression because I do want to get cards exiled for the Despoiler. But it's also hard to pass up Outnumber and Infuse with the Elements. If we have a spread out deck that really uses Vile Aggregate to the best, then Outnumber would be better, but Unnatural Aggression goes better with this Despoiler. Unnatural Aggression is also better with this Vile Aggregate, because the reason Unnatural Aggression isn't just an insanely good first pick green card is because it offers no power boost, so there are often times you play and you just trade your creatures, but that's how fight cards work out usually anyway. Alright, what do we have here? Sylvan Scryan, not a real card. I like Natural Connection more than most people, but I don't have a reason to play it yet. Void Attendant's awkward, because there are a lot of times you just don't use the ability, or you want to leave your cards exiled for, or your opponent's cards exiled for another reason. I think it's probably the pick here, though. Looking to pick up colorless cards and exiling cards, which red-green is not the best combination to do that. Other than that, I'd be fine taking Demon's Grasp, Natural Connection, Maybe even Lumen Spires if I'm looking to attack a lot. I could splash quite easily, but there's nothing here I want to splash for, and I don't think I need this Eldrazi Devastator right now. So I'll take Void Attendant, and... Alright, I picked this guy up last time, and he was quite good. Very good, actually. I don't want to play the same deck as last time, and it doesn't look like Black's open at all, so maybe Snapping Gnarlid is the best card in this pack. I think this is a very good 2-drop. Giant Mantis and Fertile Thicket would be fine as well. Fertile Thicket would be great if I'm splashing. Forerunner is, in my opinion, the best card in the pack. Snapping Gnarlid is the safer pick. I'm going to take Forerunner. The output there is just greater. Ooh, okay, so Blister Pod and Nissa's Renewal, and I actually like Nissa's Renewal a lot. I wish I'd take Snapping Gnarlid because this is a extremely good card if you have a lot of landfall triggers. The only other card I would consider is Blister Pod, but I am going to take Nissa's Renewal. I think this is actually a first pickable rare. It doesn't seem like it does a lot, but it thins your deck quite a bit. It gives you 7 life back, which means that you're probably going to be able to cast it and survive. Usually you want your 6 drops to do something huge. It also triggers landfall lots of times, which isn't too relevant for us. It fixes, but not in a way that's amazing. I guess I'll take Devastator now. We don't have too much ramp. Nissa's Renewal is not quite what we're looking at. I could take Natural Connection. It searches for black mana. And we will need a little bit of a splash, it looks like. But Devastator, Natural Connection's not amazing. It's just a playable card. And some people think it's completely unplayable, but I disagree. I'm going to go ahead and take Devastator. And here, probably Blister Pod. There's also Touch of the Void and the Offshoot. Any of those would be fine making the deck. I think I'm leaning towards Touch of the Void. Again, it exiles cards, and that's kind of something I'm relevantly looking for. I would be fine with either of those two. I'd actually probably even play the Offshoot. If not, it would be fine sideboard card. Nothing amazing for us here. Whenever you cast a colorless spell with converted mana cost 7 or greater, you can sacrifice it and search for a colorless creature. I don't think that's great because it only triggers off us casting a Devastator. And if you play the Devastator first, it just doesn't do anything. So I'll take a 2-drop that hopefully doesn't make the cut. And I'll take Invoker here. I think Goblin Warpaint could be good in this format, but I'm not going to run it out yet. And this Forerunner might not actually happen, but hopefully it does. Alright, Warpaint. Ooh, Giant Mantis as a last pick is great. So this looks pretty good so far. Forerunner is not definite yet. I guess I'll leave it in until we know for sure it's not happening. Looking to get more exile cards. Maybe an Evolving Wilds. Zada. Alright, this makes... what's it called? Earthen Arms significantly better. Did I take Zada last time? I don't remember if I did. Boiling Earth has been good against me every time my opponents have played it. Valakut Predator is not a card I like, but that I think most people are pretty high on. Do I have things that work with Zada right now? Not really, but we can pick it up, especially in red-green, so something like Swell of Growth works very well with it. I think I'm going to pick it up. I don't like Scythe Leopard. I have the same problem with Scythe Leopard that I had with Goblin Glory Chaser in Origins, and that it's just not good unless you get it on turn 1 on the play. Let's take up Zada and see if we can draft something pretty sweet with it. Right now we're looking to pick up something more spread out cards. This pack's good. I like Horribly Awry, and Zulaport Cutthroat is fantastic in certain decks. There are a couple for us. There's Blister Pod again, Slide Runner, Nettle Drone, and Stone Fury. I think Blister Pod is out on this pick. Slide Runner is great with the landfall triggers. Nettle Drone we've seen as just a fine card. And then Stone Fury is also removal. I'm leaning towards Nettle Drone. It's just a very solid card. Sometimes attacks for 3, but usually just pings away damage. And I think that's fine. We also have a good number of ways to untap it so far. I should also mention this Lantern Scout, which is probably a better, just a very, very good card. And I kind of want to take it, honestly. But I'm going to go with the safer Nettle Drone pick here. Core Entanglers, jeez. Someone's getting shipped great allies. There's also Sky Spawner and Clutch of Currents, clearly in the wrong colors. Clearly want to be in blue here. Tide Drifter, Clutch of Currents, and Sky Spawner are all great blue cards. Which makes me sad. Also, the white cards going by. We're in the exact wrong 2 colors. Here I'm leaning towards Swell of Growth because we have Zada. It's not the best card in the pack by any means. I think that is between these 2 or Core Entanglers. Am I married to green right now? Not really. I could be moving into blue. And I think this is a sign that I should be. Sky Spawner's great. So is Clutch of Currents. I don't even know which one I'd pick between these 2. I'm going to go with Sky Spawner. Ally Encampment doesn't do too much for us. Sheer Drop is great. This Wind Rider is good, and so is Blister Pod. I don't think Forerunner is going to happen. Could just be blue, red, white. Or, I'm sorry, blue, red, green. Wind Rider Patrol is a pretty good card. Our low drops are looking miserable right now, though. I'd like for one of these Blister Pods to come back. March from the Tomb, probably not going to happen. Stalwart's great. Dampen Impulse is good in certain matchups. Retreat, I don't love this one. Incubator Drone, Kozilek's Channeler, and Vestige would all be good cards. I think I'm going to take the Stalwart, though. I think that's a fine pick, actually. Adverse Conditions, there's a second Forerunner, wow. Anticipate and Sure Strike. Anticipate, Adverse Conditions, Sure Strike. I'm leaning towards Adverse Conditions. It's the strongest card out of those 3. Anticipate would be a decent one. Give me something else to do on turn 2. Also, Filters for lands. Sure Strike, I would only pick if I was really considering going off with Zada, which right now I don't have the early game spread out creatures to do that. So I'm probably thinking Adverse Conditions here. Right, Vestige or Earthen Arms. Again, Earthen Arms with Zada is the Wombo combo. Give all your creatures 2 counters for 2 mana. Swell of Growth, I'm not going to pick a second one. Oh, I didn't pick the first one, actually. Or Vestige would be fine creature. Also colorless. I think I'm leaning towards Earthen Arms, actually, just because I have Zada. But Vestige is probably better with the cards we've taken. And then we keep going back and forth. So I think we do have a deck that could play Titan's Presence just fine. We have 3 power, 5 power, 8 power creatures. Duststalker seems good too. And I just can't make up my mind. I don't have good mana fixing, so it's not like I can just start throwing around cards. Coral Helm Guide does fill in the 2 slot, and I probably want to do that actually. I don't even want to play Reckless, whatever it's called. So we'll take this. Earthen Arms or Boiling Earth. I like Boiling Earth better, but Earthing Arms has more potential in the deck. Let's go and take Boiling Earth. And, ooh, Benefit Infiltrator. I didn't see that the first time. Also Stone Fury. Probably Infiltrator. It is another, it's an unblockable ingest card. Very good. Horribly Awry. Covers the same grounds, but not as reliably. So I'll take this Infiltrator, and we got a really stacked 3 slot. Sure, this or Skyline Cascade. I'll take the Cascade here. Take another one of these. Probably should have taken the Oh, I don't mind that last pick, Anticipate. Alright, this third pack needs to give us fixing, maybe one more way to exile things. Because I really only need exiled things for Despoiler, but if you can reliably get 2 cards exiled, this is a 9/9, which is great. 6 mana 9/9s are pretty good. Alright, what do we got? That's a good rare. Pilgrim's Eye is sweet too, and I like Rot Shambler, but this isn't really the deck for Rot Shambler. Slide Runner would be fine. I'm going to take Drowner of Hope. No way I'm passing this. It is a bomb. It's a 5/5 for 6. It makes 2 Eldrazi Scions, and then you can sack a Scion to tap a creature. So it can be a win condition. Pilgrim's Eye is pretty good too. I'll take the Drowner. Then I'll have to think really carefully about my cuts. Smoldering Marsh, is that good for us? Not really, because we're not using the black. Also, Encircling Fissure is a great card that I don't think I'm going to be able to play. Lifespring Druid is probably the pick here. Stone Fury would be great too, because I don't have a lot of... Actually, just don't have great removal already. But Lifespring Druid is fixing. We are playing 3 colors pretty spread out. No, I'm going to take Stone Fury. I just need good removal. And I have early game removal, but that's about it. Oh, wow. And more picks. Kozilek Sentinel was great in my last deck, but it would be just fine in this deck. Clutch of Currents, Grove Rumbler, Deathless Behemoth. All playable cards. All on color. Clutch of Currents is my favorite one. Grove Rumbler is very good. Also, worth noting, Grove Rumbler with Nissa's Renewal is +6/+6 to get a 9/9 Trampler. And then Deathless Behemoth is just a fine, good playable card by itself. I'm going to take Clutch. I think it's actually probably just the best. Wow, this pack's great for us too. Could take Blister Pod, another Infiltrator, Vile Aggregate, Stone Fury, Touch of the Void, Kozilek Sentinel, and even Oracle of Dust is playable. I'm going to go with Vile Aggregate though. Again, I already have one, and it just walls up while also being able to attack sometimes. Benthic Infiltrator is worth considering, and these removal spells are pretty good, but we'll go with the Aggregates. Alright, Orin Reef. Cryptic Cruiser is good, not amazing in my deck. I guess it's pretty good alongside Benthic Infiltrator. If we're attacking very aggressively, which we're kind of not. I'm going to take the Invoker as another 2-drop. Alright, I like this retreat a lot less than most people. People seem to really like it, but I don't think it's good. I mean, it's fine, but it's not great. Touch of the Void, or Plated Crusher, or Giant Mantis. Gonna take Touch of the Void. Exile, exile, exile. Sure Strike, Kozilek Sentinel, Coral Helm Guide, and there's also a consideration for Plummet in the sideboard. 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures to play before turn 2. Gonna go with the Sentinel, I believe. It works better with the Vile Aggregates, Nettle Drone, and it does the same thing we want to be doing where we're kind of defending with cards like Vile Aggregate while still attacking with other creatures. I do want a Sure Strike, but I'm not going to take a better card over it. If I can get like a last pick Sure Strike or second to last, I'd be fine with that. So this deck's not looking amazing. It's a little light on power, but it has some late game stuff to do. Not much ramp. Not much ramp. I'll have to consider whether I'm playing 17 or 18 lands here. It is very heavy on creatures, though. Just not very heavy on early game. Boiling Earth's probably going to stay in the sideboard. It is a main deckable card, but not great. I'm also going to cut Void Attendant. I think I would rather leave cards in exile for Ulamog's Despoiler. Zada, if we're not doing anything with Zada, Zada's just not good. I'm also going to cut Reckless Cohort, or whatever its name is. Yeah, Cohort. I don't like cards that have to attack. Even if I'm short on 2-drops, I don't want to play a 2-drop that just runs into dying. We are very light on fixing, which is my fault. Although we haven't seen too much fixing. We did see the Elf Spring Druid that I passed up. Zada might just come out. Do I have anything to do with it? Nope. Unnatural Aggression doesn't work with it either because Unnatural Aggression has 2 targets. Vestige, Territorial Baloth, Royal Mage's Trick, Retreat to Valakut. I'm leaning toward Royal Mage's Trick. Like I mentioned last time, I like this card a lot more than most people do. And I think Converge gets underrated because of how weird it is. But I am solid 3 different colors here. And I do like the benefit of this card. Territorial Baloth and Vestige would be fine. I'm not super into the second Vestige. Territorial Baloth would be okay. Ooh, Pilgrim's Eye Wield. Was not expecting that. Seek the Wilds is also fine if you're in 3 colors, but Pilgrim's Eye is coming in, and I will be super happy. Wow, no love for the Encircle and Fission. I think this card is insanely good. One-sided Fogs. Do not underestimate them. Retreat, Anticipate, Giant Mantis. I do not like this Retreat very much, as I said, but it probably better than the second Anticipate. Maybe not. I like me some Anticipate. I don't know that you usually want 2 of them in the deck. Alright, I'll take another 2-drop. I'll take Blister Pod too. These cards both suck, but I already have 1 Goblin Warpaint. And I already have 1 of these. Alright, so we got some sweet picks at the end there. The Sentinel plus Blister Pod give me more things to do in the early game. Pilgrim's Eye Wheeling was something I was not expecting at all. Devastator can probably come out. Zada is coming out, unfortunately. Devastator is likely coming out. Maybe not, though. I don't have too much, like, in-your-face late-game win cards. Take this out for now. Alright, we've got to make a good number of cuts here. A couple high-end cuts. I don't love having all these, so I'm going to cut the 8-drop, which makes me feel more comfortable about having 3 6-drops in the deck. Valakut Invoker, 2 Touch of the Voids, Benthic Infiltrator, Stalwart. Alright, so this is going to be difficult because I've got a couple different routes I can go. I'm leaning towards leaving more colorless cards in the deck for Vile Aggregate and Nettle Drone. Don't necessarily have to do that. Let's see, can I reliably turn this Despoiler on? 1 way, 2, 3, 4. 4 ways to exile cards doesn't seem super reliable, but it's quite enough, I think. Vestige, not a card I love, but I think the other blue cards are better. Invoker, yeah, I just don't know what to cut right now. I guess I can cut 1 Sentinel. And help me out here, guys. Help me out. I think I'll cut the Royal Mage's Trick, unfortunately. Super heavy on creatures this time. Despoiler should probably go, but I think I want to try it out. And some people might say lose Nissa's Renewal, but I don't like that. I like Nissa's Renewal a lot. Anticipate number 2. Stalwart's usually a 3, 4. I'm looking to just kind of swarm creatures and attack in, but I don't have a lot of ways to just push in damage, which is unfortunate. Yeah, I'm a little stuck here. I guess to spoiler, but then that leaves me with only a couple ways to actually like win a game. One of these should probably be in the deck, but this also lowers the curve, means I can probably run 17 lands. Vestige of Emrakul, I guess, can come out. It's a fine card. It's not amazing by any means. Invoker is very good if you get to 8 mana. I'm going to be running 17 sources, so it's more like Flood Assurance, and we are going to be mucking up a little bit with these aggregates and the Sentinel and things like that. I think I am going to cut it, though, just for the sake of having made cuts. Double Touch of the Void is okay. Touch of the Void can also go to the opponent's face. I always anticipate number 2. And one more cut. I'm looking at these 3 drops, deciding what I would take out. And I don't love taking any of them out. Stalwart's good. Pilgrim's Eye is almost a necessity in here. Unnatural Aggression and Double Touch of the Void is kind of our removal, with the exception of Stone Fury. Benfiltrator and Sky Spawner are great. I guess Benfiltrator is less, or Benfiltrator, Benthic Infiltrator is less necessary if we're not playing this to spoiler, but it's still an unblockable source of damage. Just doesn't get in for a lot though. It's also a pump for Nettle Drone, or Vile Aggregate, and good for Nettle Drone. This last cut is hard. Mantis Rider. You are not Mantis Rider. Giant Mantis can stay in. I'm gonna lose the Infiltrator. Someone at home is like, no, how could you? But I think I can lose the Infiltrator if I'm not using its ability for any particular reason. So I like this. I think this is a 17 land deck. I will run this Skyline Cascade. Very even. So it looks like 655. I'm sorry. 665. With they're all very close. We're gonna get mana screwed definitely at some point in this game. So they're suggesting green. Yeah, that looks about right. If I add in Skyline Cascade, take out an island. And then if I include Pilgrim's Eye, I have 7 green sources, 7 blue sources, and 6 red sources, which is bad. Like, my mana is terrible, but my colors are so spread out and I don't have a lot of fixing. So that'll have to work. Decent sideboard options here too, so not bad. I hope you guys enjoy, and